Well, I'm super nervous that you guys are all here. I don't know how you found out about the event, but we did some like social media sponsorships on Facebook. So if you're thinking about hosting an event and sponsoring it on Facebook, those are definitely good ad dollars, as you can see here today. I think we spent a total of maybe $30 on advertising on Facebook. So if you found it on Facebook, yeah, that's just a good ROI there. So let's see where to start. Basically, David Alger and I were having a conversation. Agler, I'm sorry, Agler. Having a conversation one day before his talk, and he was telling me about his new drone business, and I was just kind of telling him how I do business development, and there were some pretty cool things that I think I shared with you. So this is just a continuation of that talk with some slides, so it's a bit more formal. But basically, I think generally speaking, this is going to be a talk about how to do business development and bootstrap it. So again, we're going to talk about website SEO, which is probably what a lot of you are here for, how to find leads for your business, how to automate emails. So we're going to set up an email workflow and then figure out 2 different ways to automate that. And then we're going to talk about cold calling. So,
can I interrupt 1 second? Sorry. We're going to go to about 11:45, is that right?
Uh-huh.
And we will take a break in the middle.
Uh-huh.
So I like to say that because otherwise I find people start taking their own breaks. So if you need to, obviously that's fine. But maybe around 11, we'll take a break. Does that sound good?
Yeah, I'm going to cover website SEO and finding leads, and then after that we'll take a break. Because really, emailing and cold calling is where like the rubber meets the road, and it's like the more fun part. So we'll do the introduction stuff, and then the first 2 points, take a quick break, maybe get a donut to get re-energized, and then come back and then knock out emailing and cold calling. Cool?
Thank you. Appreciate it.
All right, so I got just 4 slides here about a background of kind of why I feel a little bit qualified to talk to you guys today about this stuff. Basically, I went to school at Miami University. Yeah, represent. Worked with some pretty cool brands like Hulu, Kroger, Huffy Bikes, Orbit Gum. Had a lot of cool experience in college. When I graduated, though it didn't translate into a job right away, I spent 8 months looking for a job. Actually thought about going back to school for pharmacy. Worked at a pharmacy for a bit and realized that even pharmacists have hard times getting jobs after college, so there's no safe bet. I actually had a friend who works for Gary Vaynerchuk, which some of you may know. He's a big social media guy, which is kind of crazy, but he encouraged me just to fix my resume up and get back in the job market. So did that, eventually started the job as a graphic designer for an ad agency in North Dakota, which is kind of crazy, but moved out there, worked in an ad agency, was let go, moved back to Cincinnati, which is where I'm from, and then got a job up here in Columbus in 2014. So I started working for a software company up here doing their website. It's a company called GeoAmps. They're a software that basically like project management, asset management for like AEP or the Ohio DOT or just really big organizations. I'll go to this next slide here. So basically the first thing that I did with their website is I helped them increase leads. So you guys probably hear a lot about how to increase traffic or how to increase visitors and stuff like that. I wanted to increase actual leads. So I increased their leads 414%. They went from 35 leads a year to 145 leads a year, which is a pretty significant increase. And it's a super practical way to do that, which I'm going to tell you guys in a few minutes. So I made the website for them, wanted to do more things at the company, wanted to, I guess, validate my existence of the company more because the website was up and running. So I asked the COO if I could do sales. And she agreed. I met with the VP of sales, and he trained me about our business model. He trained me about who our customers are and how to cold call. So one of the reasons that I'm excited to talk to you guys a little bit about cold calling is because my background is in graphic design and like techie things. So like the furthest thing from being charismatic and like talking to someone on the phone. So if that's you, if you like are not that type of person, I think this can be incredibly helpful for you to learn how to cold call and to know when it's appropriate to cold call. Last final point is I helped them increase their sales by $350,000 a year. It's probably more than that now. I didn't keep track really, but we landed a pretty big deal with the California high-speed rail and then EverPower wind energy, but those are billion-dollar deals. So it's kind of my corporate-y background. In 2015, had a bit of a life crisis, and I'm a Christian, so God was really working on my heart around the areas of worry and insecurity, And I realized that I was really living my life pursuing things or trying to avoid things I didn't want out of life. So I was living from like debt and just bad relationships, and that was like really the driving force of my life. But really, when God brought these issues to the surface for me, and I dealt with them, I started thinking about what is it that I actually want in life, and I actually to figure that out, to figure out like the big questions like that, I went to Google. I just Googled how to find your purpose, which is pretty funny. But I don't really believe that like we have a purpose, quote unquote. But like I think we generally just want more meaning out of our lives. I think all of us would agree that that's true. So two things that I found about myself is I love to create things. I love to build things, to make things, and I also love to gather people together. And a cause that I care about is anti-human trafficking, and especially around children. So a friend of mine and I started a dodgeball tournament to fundraise for the International Justice Mission. So we raised $1,200. Really fun event. There's a picture there of the actual event, but it was a lot of fun. I felt like I had purpose in my life at that time, and I wanted to do more. I wanted to expand that nonprofit. So I actually got connected with She Has a Name Cleaning, which Melissa representing here. I'm glad that you're here. So She Has a Name Cleaning is, I've already told you, but it's a social enterprise downtown. They're a for-profit business that helps victims of human trafficking with employment. So I worked with them, and I just loved it. I connected with them because I wanted to help their website. I have a background in design, a background in growing sales, and I just wanted to help them to do those things. So I met with their CEO, I met with their directors, and I just loved taking what they had and making it better. And in the process of doing that, I realized that there's a big opportunity out there for companies using like a Squarespace or a Weebly or WordPress, like these month-to-month services, but they really need that professional touch. They need like custom design or branding. They need custom forms or development features or SEO or things like that. So I thought, what if I could have the business model of like this month-to-month service and give like the custom design, custom development, custom SEO for free? So that's when I launched Makeshark. That's exactly what we do. So the reason why I tell you guys that for is not because I want to sell you on Makeshark. It's because I think it's a cool testament to taking a traditionally project-based business like web development. I mean, you hire a web developer, they charge $20,000 for a site, and then that's it. But my business model is a bit different in that it's a reoccurring payment. It's easier for people to afford, and it frees up my time a lot too. So I'm not constantly looking for a new prospect to grow my sales. I have this reoccurring revenue. And one thing that we want to do at Makeshark is to help inner city students who are at risk but yet motivated to get ahead in life. We want to work with them and help them to learn development. And as we're connecting with businesses with their websites, we want to then pass these students off to these companies so they can do better with their career. So.
Quick question for you. Do you want to go slideshow, or do you like it better that way?
I'm going to stick to this way just because I'm going to go back and forth.
That's what I was worried about.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay.
There's going to be a lot of examples coming up here in a second. So any comments, feedback? Okay. So you guys should all have a worksheet in front of you. Does anyone not have a worksheet? If you don't, we can probably bring one to you. Oh, yeah.
Anyone else need one?
Here's a pen. So what I'm going to talk about today is not complicated stuff. I mean, cold calling has been around forever. Prospecting has been around forever. I think I told you guys that when I became a salesman at the software company I was working with, their VP trained me how to cold call and things like that. My main job, though, in the beginning was to find prospects. So he basically handed me a directory of potential prospects, and I was responsible for bringing him these leads, and he would sit down with me in a conference room, he would pick up the phone, he would call these people, and we tracked like 500 calls. So I watched him make 500 phone calls, and he basically just gave this really simple pitch, like, hey, we're a software company, we do this and that, would you be the right person to talk to about this? And he did it 500 times, and for me, it's like, that's kind of a weird thing to say, but it was super, super effective. So, sorry, I'm kind of going on a tangent here. Sometimes, like, when I'm nervous, like, like my mouth keeps moving, but like my mind's not caught up yet. So I hope that like.
I don't think anybody here has ever had that, right? Never, right? It doesn't happen. So.
Okay.
Try not to judge. Okay. Yep.
But anyways, I wanted to keep it super simple today. 4 points. So we're going to talk about your website, how to get more leads. We're going to talk about how to find leads, how to automate emails, and how to cold call. And there's room on your worksheets that just while we're talking, just to make some notes around those things.